What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Welcome back to episode 35 of the Trinity podcast. You were quick on the trigger.
I was early there. I was early. I can't lie to you. There was, you know what it is, yeah? I'm off, like, fitness is off. And I've got a lot of respect for you because while there's people missing, you're always here.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many have you missed?
Of the Trinity, I don't think I've missed one. I don't think I've missed one.
Ain't there been one?
I don't think I've missed a Trinity because I record the show. So it's difficult to do it without.
That's true.
That is, yeah. I mean, the last week, look, that we got some criticism last week, KG. We got some criticism, yeah, from the comments going, can't call it the Trinity, don't call it the Trinity, false advertising, blah, blah, blah. Because obviously the week before, last week you were in Saudi. Week before, Flex was flying back from Portugal.
And he had delays because of the Portuguese situation.
Yeah, he was planned to be here, to be fair. He was planned to be here for that one, but he couldn't make it.
Everyone was delayed. Even Youre couldn't get there.
Exactly. Then we've realized that this time next week, Flex will also be flying back from Turkey. So
why don't we just do the Trinity on another day on Thingy?
I don't know, but yeah, but this is episode 35 because people like their Friday routine. I like my Friday routine. I'm sure you do as well.
Yes.
And look, international break is now over. Football is back. Did you need it? What, you needed the break or you needed the return?
No, I wish the break could last longer.
All right.
Like, I needed international break. It was the best thing that could have happened for Man United, you know, because we are hard to watch and emotion. Like, have you noticed the toxicity is not as violent as it can be.
It's a defeated kind of vibe, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's you kind of, I think, encompassed it perfectly. I've been last week on the Flex and KG where you were just like, I'm annoyed, but I'm kind of, you know what I mean? I'm annoyed, but I'm resigned to this is where I kind of am. This is where we kind of are, that kind of situation. Do I hope things change? Yes. If they don't, will I be surprised? No. You know, that's kind of, which I think is kind of where people are at. I mean, as we recorded this, Ten Hag did his press conference about an hour or so ago.
Have you done your reaction to it?
It was there. It's yeah.
That's going to be my driving.
But you're not used to it. That's why we keep the Trinity every Friday, because it's about routine, of course. Now, the press conference, your favorite show, you don't know when they're going to be on. Sometimes they're Thursday, sometimes they're Friday. It's difficult.
It's a disgrace. They need to work that out because I hate it. I hate that.
Yeah.
We actually had a routine. Our presses on Friday, it was like midday. You get it around about 1 something. I had a lovely
1:30. Yeah.
1:30, yeah. Lovely drive. And then after I'd call you pre-presser to get more information of what you already said already.
Yeah, exactly. Or sometimes what KG would do, he'd be watching it and then he would hear he would see the quote, you hear me say something, he'd pause it and then go, I'm just watching this. I can't believe what he said. I can't believe what you said.
Now, one of my favorite things to do here is watch the full Youre breakdown, then watch the press conference and be like, oh yeah, Owen read that pretty well.
Yeah, well,
such accuracy of because sometimes you get really angry. I like when you get angry at reporters. That's one of my
that's what I was going to say to you today. Ten Hag, he had a swipe. Yeah, he had a swipe at the media because it was largely a paint-by-numbers presser, as you would expect from Ten Hag. He is quite predictable when it comes to his press conferences. But he was asked a question if he felt the need to seek assurances from the Manchester United hierarchy during this international break. And he said, quote, no, the noise is only coming from the media, from some of you, not all of you, creating stories and fairy tales, bringing lies, because I know we're on one page within this club. I said before the break, but several journalists probably didn't believe me. Within the club, it's quiet. And you know what? I've criticized Ten Hag for tactics and results and what have you, but I'll say it here, what I said in the press conference stream. I like it when he does that. I like it because they deserve it. You know, if it's the difference between opinion and reporting, isn't it? You can do an opinion piece saying if I was Manchester United, I'd sack him, or if I think he's not going to last long, etc., etc. But when you put out reports, this is happening or this is going to happen, and it doesn't happen, then you open yourself up for criticism, don't you? And it's only fair he has a swipe back. That's not him. Like some people go, he's rattled. I'd be like, mate, I'd be more rattled by being 14th than what the journalists are saying.
You know why I really hate this thing about rattled, because what does rattled mean? It means you're having an emotion, right? You've got an emotion to the... Yeah. What does that mean?
Because it means you're not allowed to have any emotion, basically.
You're a dickhead for what you've done. And there's got to be a chance for me to tell you, because I ain't rattled. I hear it. But it still doesn't defeat the thing. I think you're a dickhead in this moment right now. And I would like you to know, I'm sharing with you, even if that's framed up as he's rattled, because I feel we're using the thing rattled. I just think maybe with the use of the word rattled, we're getting it wrong a little bit. Because again, is Ten Hag allowed to come out and have a swipe saying, everyone said that there was a meeting and I'm going to lose my job this international break? You've heard murmurings and this, that, and the other, muted, what's the guy that Carve does? Noises.
Hearing noises.
Meetings are, and it is likely to be international break. Now, there is not the international break we just had. You know what I mean? Like, we've been on this journey. He's allowed to come out and say, you're all dickheads.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. And guess what? Let's be honest, yeah? Let's be fair. I'm listening, because even the Muppeteers have said, we did not try to contact Tuchel, which is insane.
No, I mean, he, by all accounts, signed his contract the day that meeting was taking place. So any of that kind of chatter about like, oh, yeah, he was told that he'd be lined up if Ten Hag's... Not true. It's not true.
And that's what I'm saying. Nobody knows. They don't know shite when it comes to Man United.
I saw you say this on Flex and KG this week. You were particularly about the Sir Alex stuff. You were very pushed back on sort of Flex by saying about the whole, can't come in the dressing room, etc. And your point was, I can't speak for you, but your point was basically,
Alex does it great. He can speak perfectly.
If I'm not mistaken, your point was, well, there might be aspects of that are true, but we shouldn't freak out of what we know probably in our hearts of hearts is largely embellished, basically. Why are we melting down on something that might not actually be all that accurate?
It's crazy because there's a picture of, and it fits, and again, it fits narratives that we want to sell. Have you seen the picture of Fergie homeless looking for a season ticket? Money for a season ticket. It's like a homeless man. It's Fergie. Money for a season ticket. It's the meme is ridiculous. I think I need to send it to you because it's stupid. But again, it fits. It's like when it's raining, it's pouring. Oh man, hold on. Everyone's been sharing it with me.
I haven't seen that. I did also, I mean, we're well off the tracks here, but I did also see I poked my head in on your channel last night. And on the pro clubs, KG's playing pro clubs on the new FIFA game. And I suppose probably actually what really summed it up is it might have been 5 or 10 minutes into your stream, the game completely glitched out over a throw-in.
Yeah.
And you all just waited for like 10 minutes for something to happen.
Yeah, nothing was happening. Nothing was happening. Nothing. And I wanted to win so bad that I wasn't going to press anything, but there it is. Look.
Move it across.
Wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that is bad.
Need money for a season ticket. Need money for a season ticket. Fergie, that's taking the piss. But then it fits that's when I tell you about narratives wanting to be set, because it's better to believe that that's true. It's with the doom and gloom with everything. It's better to, push heavily down on the club. And I get it. It's a negative moment, but then we feel negative because we love this club and want it to be better. Other people throwing shit on the club because it fits. I hate you lot and I want you to feel this way. I don't want it to get better. I want you to hate your new people they just brought in. I don't want you to feel like there's anything good happening at your club. I need you to stay in this state. And guess what? And we have to be, I just feel in moments like this, especially with something new, especially with the Ineos thing, we just have to be wary of that because we can change the environment of the new, something new that's happening. I remember I use Arsenal as a perfect breakdown about everyone hated Kroenke's and it was the Kroenke's out, yeah? All of a sudden, not much has changed. It's just his son is running it. But his son's doing you could say same people. It's his son and Eddie, right? But they've made a change and they're now seeing dividends from what they've done. But then it needed everyone to be on the similar page of, okay, we're going in a good direction now. We're going to give you the opportunity to prove yourselves. And I feel like we've very quickly, because we're angry at one part of this whole picture, we're now saying this whole thing could be cursed or this whole thing could be rotten. And I hate all of it. And at the moment, it's just not true. It's just not true. And we have to be really careful about not bringing that Glazer stuff onto Ineos.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the thing on Monday, wasn't it, with the red carpet, with the, there was a lot of KG's right, you're missing the point or what have you. And I do see what you're saying with that. I do see what you're saying with that in the sense that, look, it's a negative time. We don't need to find extra things to be negative about. Basically, there's already enough there. There's a lot of source material. You know, if you're going to look at the results, performances, players, coaching staff, what have you, then you could go, actually, you know what, that's probably enough to be negative about. We don't need to mount down about other things that actually we were praising not too long ago, which I do agree with you. And also you have to also check where the information is coming from, because like you said, it's easy. It's easy when things are negative, just to be like, oh, by the way, you know, Sir Alex can't even go in the dressing room anymore. And you go, really? Oh, I'm furious anyway. Yeah, but now I'm even more furious. It's challenging, to be fair, though, at that time as a fan, to go like, oh, actually, that's bullshit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have to kind of catch yourself, don't you? You have to catch yourself.
And you know what? And I don't blame people when this happens, because I remember you've said they put this together perfectly. Remember when Qatar was coming? Yeah, we thought Qatar was coming, and they signed up to Company's House and they made the Company 92 Foundation and stuff. Anything that you wanted to believe was true, depending on how the side that you sat, the side that you really like was allegiant to, you believed. When they were telling us,
you wanted it to be true.
You wanted it to be true. I remember someone getting, the guy that was truly on Sir Jim and was telling us he's not going away, and he got cussed over and over again. He's not a tier one. He's just one of them. He's one of them reporters. I think it was Ben Jacobs. Anytime Ben Jacobs opened his mouth about Sir Jim, people lost it.
Well, it's even like, I remember the Muppeteers. You know, Muppeteers had very good information at that time, and they would be like, "No, this isn't what you think it is. This is this," and he got called some really horrible names. So, you know what I mean? And it was like, actually, you're just kind of telling the truth. So no, I agree with you that you have to be careful about, you know, just based on what you want to happen or you don't want to happen, then suddenly that means you believe everything. You should always have a critical mind.
But again, I was able to say I was lucky. So I'm not like better or anything like that. I disconnected. I was in Saudi. I stepped away. Every day when you're in this thing, and it just feels like it's a pylon. And when the fixtures add to it, tomorrow we have to face the music. Tomorrow, there's going to be a moment in the game, maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes in, where it's our fault for this performance, and it's our fault for the early conceding of a goal, because these are players that you should have called out seasons ago. Yeah. And you're only seeing it now. It's too late to call these players out. It's too late to see what you're seeing. How dare
reverse? there's a reverse of that as well. The reverse is, so for instance, say for like me, I've been very critical the last month or so. If we have a very good performance tomorrow, let's say we win 3-0, then that's going to turn into, oh, I would hold that, and it'll be like, hold, we won. Like we
Yeah.
won. Like if we score, I'll be celebrating those goals. If we win, in terms of the grander scheme of things, it doesn't really change all that much. You're not gonna. It's like having that, that partner. I've changed, and you go, it's been a day.
Yeah.
Let's see some longer term commitment kind of thing, which is what it will be for United. But I hope, I hope we'll win tomorrow. I hope we'll have a good run.
Owen. No, we have to be careful. I think what we can't do tomorrow is go crazy with celebrations.
No, I won't. But I'm not gonna be muted. I'm not gonna sit on my hands.
Not muted, but I learned for that game against, was it Porto?
What, when they came? Well, we were saying when they went in that they were going to come back. There
you go. But then now we said that with a smidgen of hope that it wasn't going to go that way. That we're just being facetious. We're just being, like, there's that level of I think we could concede, but I kind of hope we don't. And let's just, you don't think it's going to happen. Now I'm more than sure that we will concede.
Are you?
Yeah.
I mean, we kept a clean sheet in the last game against Aston Villa.
No, because we not on our own doing. Not on our own doing. It wasn't like, I get that people will say, look, Johnny Evans, it was a good game. Yeah. But I remember, was it Solanke inside takes a low shot off target, really off target. There was a big opportunity for them that they just didn't put away. And when we just remember Watkins, yeah. There was a big chance for him. It just obviously it's gone wide, nothing to do with Onana. It was just one of those moments. Yeah. And we commit to those every single time. If Man United concede early in this game, pray for us. If we concede early, because the feelings are not gone, and just learning how to play this EA game, which is so funny, right? But then I told you about the spirit of losing, right? Because we lost 5 games on the bounce yesterday, and my head started to go. I couldn't feel like nothing was working.
Yeah.
You start pointing, you start taking less accountability, it becomes about everyone else. And then after you just feel sorry for yourself. And I feel that at Man United, there is a mentality. I use that just to quickly talk about the psychology that we're facing at the moment. If we concede early, they remember all of last season, they remember how bad this season's going, and they remember their 14th. And it's almost we can blame the manager. So because the players can play better than this, everyone believes if we change the manager, the results could change. Well, where's that performance from the players now? But there's something off. Are you with me?
There's definitely, and the thing is, this isn't even a new thing either, though, is it? I mean, this ability to manage pressure or adversity. You look at the victories we've had this season, 3 in all comps. They've all come where the opposition hasn't scored. Because if they score, we were not going to win the game because we can't overcome that. We can't, that little bit of a pushback. So to your point, if Brentford were to do what Brentford do, which is scoring like the first 90 seconds, then from a fan's perspective, you would be inclined to think, well, then this is over because we can't score. And
you haven't got mentality.
No, and we can't like bounce back. And it was interesting actually looking at the stats when we were previewing the game. Obviously, for all the talk about how how much we're underperforming in our XG, so we should have had 6 more goals or something at this point. Actually, we're also underperforming in terms of our goals against. We should have conceded more goals than we have, quite a lot more goals than we have. So then I was thinking about it, actually going, well, actually then, if we're saying, oh, it's just a case of just goals need to go in, then we'll be so much better. You're going, well, actually, is that really true? Because by the same logic, then, if you're looking at that going, well, it's inevitable because our XG is high. Eventually, they'll start going in, and we're going to be fine. But then, by the same logic, looking at the expected goals against, eventually they're going to start going in against us, and we're going to balance each other out. So, And to your point, when that happens, I don't think we've got the mentality or the people to kind of recover from that, because as we've seen, it's not even necessarily a goal sometimes, is it? We'll do the games together on the match view, and like first 5 minutes, we're going, oh, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. And it's like one bad pass, and then you can see it, can't you? Everyone goes, oh, here we go. Here we go. And that's it. And then next thing you know, there's this 10, 15-minute battleground period where it's like nobody can pass the ball. Let's hope Onana can make some saves, or the other team just doesn't really bother what they're going to do. But it's coming at some point of the game. And it's like, I don't know. And that's where I do sympathize to an extent with Ten Hag, because that's not a just Eric Ten Hag thing. That has happened under multiple managers. But as the manager, it's his job to fix it. And if he can't fix it, then he's not the right man to be in charge, because the person in charge has to fix that.
Listen, what's the scariest matter is Brentford have got 10 points right now. Yeah. If they win this game, the gap between Man United and Brentford is ridiculous. The gap between Man United, Fulham, all these teams that are above us is unbecoming. Like there's stuff where you say, hey. So I get when you talk about negativity and how the feeling and what seeps into the dressing room, like it's twofold. It's rich from the manager to be like, you guys shut up. But then at the same time, it's like that moment when Matisse called Flex and Flex wanted to chuck it back. And I said, Flex,
and you were like, don't.
We're in no position for where we are right now. There's like, now some people you have to go outside for just because they're just annoying, like expressions. If you get your moment, try your best. But then that's extreme case, because that's extreme case of someone that cooks daily. So you just need to get him when you get your opportunity. But in the normality of, we shouldn't have any chat. We're below Brighton, bro. We're not seeing Brighton. Newcastle, with all the injuries they've had this season and the hard games that they played, they're above us.
Well, it was like Matisse last season, wasn't it? I mean, it's probably why he's talking with some chest now. It's because last season he couldn't talk to anyone.
He couldn't.
He couldn't talk to anyone. He knew it. You know what I mean? He knew it. Like when you've been mid-table for the majority of the season, what are you going to do? I think it's interesting, actually, because I remember a big argument you had with Flex. I forget what game it's after. It might have been the Chelsea game, actually. But there was one where you were basically like, it might have been the Brentford one. And you were like, well, we're no better than Brentford. Do you remember that? When you were like, we're no better than Brentford. And he was like, no, of course we are. We're better. It's just the manager's not getting enough out of those players, because, of course, those players are better than the players that Brentford have got. But what is quite interesting is since then, if you look in the table and they say the table doesn't lie, well, I guess we're not. I guess we're not better.
No, and that's bro, the gap is disgusting. Just imagine common, is it Newcastle? We're 12 points off Newcastle, something stupid. Like we've become so bad. Like, do you reckon if we lose this again, and I hate to do this sacking merry-go-round each and every single time when we have a game, but if we lose this one, do you reckon they'll do it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that if there was a time to do it, that was partially my frustration in the last international break. I thought if you were going to do it, you would do it then. You want to talk about looking foolish. If we lost to Brentford and they went, right, we're going to sack Eric Ten Hag, that is when you would go, then what have you done for the last 2 weeks? That is such a waste of time.
Or if Ineos say we tried to give him a chance, and we can see we gave him a game that we thought he should win, and he didn't win it, so we're done now.
But it would be interesting to see how high up on the plan list Thomas Tuchel was, because now I feel like the only plan Ineos have at this point, if they would sack Eric Ten Hag, is we'll give it to Ruud. I don't think they've got anyone lined up now.
Ruud is not the long-term successor, but it's the short-term.
But I mean, it could be end of, like, literally till the end of season kind of vibes. Previously, I was on a bit like a Michael Carrick. He might have it for a few games and then give it to the next guy. But now I'm thinking, like, actually, it might be a bit of an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Frank Lampard situation where it's like, well, He gets it, end of the season. A bit like Ollie, you're just kind of hoping that because these players are better than what they're showing, if we can just make it sort of happier, you know what I mean? If we can just make it happier, then they might start playing better. What that says about the players, I mean, take your pick, isn't it? It's a bit like the Jose situation of, oh, Ollie came in and did a great job, and you then go, that says a lot about the players, doesn't it? That all they wanted to do was just be a bit happier, and then suddenly they can win however many games in a row.
I disagree. Because the style and system is important. The system is what it like. I understand. What if you tell me to do something I can't do? What if you said, look, what I need from you is to be not what's the opposite of things I do right now? Well, less
I need KG. I need you to be less reckless.
There you go. But then and sensible. And all these things that are not emotional. You don't want to see me thrive. You need to let me do my thing. Like,
that's what the comments always say to you, and then you push back and go, "Don't try and change me. I'm not going to change." You said, remember when they'll say next time, KG, don't be so like over the top or whatever, and you'll go, "I'll be exactly the same.
I'm going to be who I am." Exactly. Yeah. Just imagine you told me to be like this consistently. I start to realize, well, I've got a long contract here. And guess what? Like, if you go, this could be better because I could be myself. You're not getting the best out of me.
And that's what I mean. As a manager, if I'm managing you and I'm telling you, I'm telling you to be something that you're not, and trying to make you change in something that you cannot change into, that's not really on you. Eventually, that's on me, because as a manager, you're supposed to get the best out of the people that you manage and understand them.
Absolutely. So put me in places where I can thrive. And let's put our players. How about this? Let's put our players into positions that they can thrive in. Was it any surprise to you that Amrabat looked better in the centre midfield than he did at left back?
Wow. Yeah.
Is there any? No. Is it going to be any surprise to anybody that Eriksen will probably look better in the 10 than he does deeper with his But I don't know where he's going to be. Is it going to be deeper?
He'll be deeper tomorrow. He won't play 10. It'll be Bruno.
But guess what? We could just switch. They could switch positions. Bruno can play deeper, and just tell Bruno, don't use the ball. Don't treat the ball like a grenade.
Hey, don't try and change him. Because you got to know your players. You got to know your players. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be fair, he got the best out of Bruno because he went, look, basically be striker. Do what you want, mate.
No, but Bruno
for players.
I hear it, but Bruno for Portugal, if you said, let's say, for instance, I know you're able to do this. I know, yes, you can be I've seen you do this. I've seen you create and pass to players who are skilled. Get it wide, get it to Ronaldo. Look after the ball, because you don't get to play recklessly here. Yeah, Bruno. And he does it. And he does a damn good job. Comes home, it's instruction. But then it would make sense if Bruno and said player that he's passing to thrive off the instruction. That if there was 2 people thriving in this team, yeah, maybe let's say more than 2, because to win a game you need like maybe 4 at least. If we had 4 people thriving from Erik Ten Hag's formation strategy, I'd say keep doing it because it's working. We're getting results. Nobody's thriving from this.
No, zero. There's no one that you would say is in amazing form. You would say you'd probably pick a couple of players. You'd say, well, Rashford's been better this season, but not like he's in fantastic form or anything like that.
Nobody.
No one.
You can't find it.
You go, Onana's been Onana's been a goalkeeper, really. That's, you know what I mean? He's not really. I know he's got like our player of the month, but that's because we've been terrible.
That was a disgrace.
But he has been.
But we haven't got anyone to give it to.
No, we just give it to Onana.
This is the first time we're getting to a stage where, like, sometimes De Gea win player of the month because he's just.
He won player of the season several seasons in a row.
No, but because he was fantastic. Those saves, you go back and you cast your mind and say, I remember there was a double save that Onana's done this season.
It was Crystal Palace.
That's it. I can remember.
Yeah.
We really like stand out double save. Well done, Onana. But then
Well, you
It's
look at
not
like
really,
Porto, you go, wow, if it weren't for him, we could have probably been like 5-3 down at that point, and we did
was the
end
end
up
of the
equalising.
result at Porto
3-3. But
after being 2-0 up.
yeah.
Yeah, the match.
I know. KG, this is how low it is at the moment. This is what I'm telling you. This is
Stuff like that.
this
We
is where
can't
it's
do
at. This is where it's at. But you know, everyone, and also the people that have leaving Man United are playing better. De Gea saving penalties now. It's a crazy world we live in. 2 in 1 game.
There you go. Do you know another thing that's been pissing me off since we're just sharing things that are getting on our nerves as well? I don't care for Pogba's quotes, by the way.
Do you know what? That didn't really bother me. What about him wanting to leave?
Not bother me. I just don't care.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't care.
Like Donny van der Beek done one as well recently.
Yeah,
I don't care. Like we're 14th. Like I would have cared if let's say the environment was better. Then it'd be like, oh, these are interesting. This is a nice tidbit to read about. Oh, you know, like you find a bit more about the thing that you love, you know, because it's going well. But you see right now, yeah, it's the last thing on my mind about I was in a good form and I wanted to leave, but they didn't want to let me leave. Because guess what? We're facing some of that now. And all that's making me think of, well, what players are at the club right now that don't want to be here? That are on contracts. Who's here right now?
The Pogba stuff, it is funny because Flex was really right when he said this the other day. Like when Pogba came out and said, oh yeah, around 2019, I said I wanted to leave, but they said no. You know, you cast back in your mind, you go, oh yeah, that lines up. Because around that time, every international break, he said he wanted to leave. You know what I mean? It's like one of those ones you go, I just never saw the signs. And then you look back and you go, oh yeah, the signs are really obvious. He always wanted to leave.
Yeah, God rest his soul. Mino Raiola.
Every international break.
Every time he went to France, he was like, Hogs, let's just come out of this international break. Okay.
I want to you go, you know what I mean? It's one of those ones, you know, like see him in these documentaries. I didn't really see that. We were really, really surprised. Then they show the evidence back and you go,
yeah,
oh yeah. No, yeah. Oh yeah, it was the same with Pogba. Like he openly would go, I love Zinedine Zidane at Real Madrid. Or I love this club.
I love it. Yeah.
Mourinho come out and be like, Pogba wants to leave. And we'd be like,
day before a huge game.
Yeah, and exactly. So you go, oh yeah, it kind of does line up. But like you said, when I heard that this week, if it was, I don't know, 18 months ago, that would maybe really rattle the Man United fan base. They'd be like, Pogba, who cares, blah, blah, blah. But it's a bit like what you were saying earlier on about Ineos, where you go, like, we got other stuff to deal with at this point. We got other stuff to deal with.
We got way too much stuff that we're facing that we can't give that any attention.
No. And like you said, maybe you look towards people now and go, I wonder if there are people now that like, they wanted to leave, but it was
That's all I do. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm saying, well, who wants to jump ship? Because there must be a few people. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say in a few years' time, Bruno said he wasn't enjoying his time and he had to really consider. He wasn't sure to re-sign with us. And I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and says something like that, or anyone. Like, I wouldn't put it past any of our players. Rashi, I'm not putting it past anyone, because now it's toxic in terms of just, it's hard. You can see, like, I feel like they might be a bit together, but there's only so many results that they can manage, especially when they're trying. So like the fall off for Rashi might be a huge one, because let's say, for now, he's never shown, the body language has been a bit shit. So he's made an effort to be different this season, and it's showing. But if it doesn't go his way after like 1 or 2 more games, he's going to say, what's the point? It's still the same things are happening. We're still losing. That's why a win is paramount. On the weekend, a win is so important, because more and more, you must be losing the players, must be losing the ear of the players, must be losing the will to get them ready, you know, a quick reaction. There's only so many times you can keep the players locked in a dressing room, like they did after Porto.
Yeah, it's true.
Guess what? We've heard this so many times, it's fallen on deaf ears. Like how banter is now. We listen to banter from our rivals and ops, and it's not hitting the same way, because we know this thing. We've done it.
You said it the other day, and it is so true. That I remember when I was younger, KG. You know, you sometimes go on holiday and you'd see other kids. You start, playing with them and playing football, and they go, "Who do you support?" And you go, "I support Manchester United," and they go like, "You're a glory hunter," or they go, "I hate you because you always win everything." Right now, if I meet someone I don't know, or you just striking up conversation about football, who do you support? And you go, "I support Man United." They go. they don't call you glory support anymore. They just go,
bro. I did before them. I did. It's almost a reluctance to say, "Hey," I give them the preface. I preface it before I tell them. I go, "Yeah, we're not doing very well at the moment. We're struggling." And sometimes they might beat me to the punch. Man United, yeah. You know what I mean? It's like a dirty secret, bro. And it's like, it shouldn't be this way, bro. This is one of the teams. Like, this is part of the establishment. You know, we need to talk about the Premier League and top 4 or championships or just a big team. You think Man United, and I've been able to watch like the landscape of the game change to a point where it's like Man City shirts all over schools. Obviously, the Arsenal shirts are still there, but then even Arsenal in America was a big wake-up call for me. Like when we went into LA and was like, they're huge out here. This is their stomping ground. Man United, with the poor, like, with not having a focused market that we've been trying to like make sure we're connecting with. So we haven't gone out to America every single time. We've recently done it, but Man United trying to be so broad, and you're not pleasing anyone. You're not pleasing anyone. In the transfer market, not pleasing anyone. In the football, for the fans watching, not pleasing. We've just not been good in many places across the board. So when Thomas Frank comes out, who's supposed to be a contender for the job,
would you take him? Would you take Thomas Frank?
Nope.
No.
Did you hear his comments?
You're not open to the idea.
No, I'm not. Did you hear his comments? He thinks
the pressure, the scrutiny was too much. I did see that. He's the scrutiny is unbelievable. I thought, you think it's unbelievable?
I said, as someone, hey, Thomas Frank thinks the scrutiny is unbelievable from the outside.
Yeah.
I said, mate, just step in. Just
dip your toe in. Dip your toe in. You think that's warm? Dip your toe in. Go, it is warm.
Dip your toe in, because you have no eye. That's just the outside. He doesn't live and breathe Man United every day. He's just now like raise his head above the parapets and be like, "Oh man, Ten Hag, it's really tough for him." That's a small. Remember when players say they come to Man United and they realize how big of a club it is?
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, like we do press conferences or interviews. There'll be a pre-match interview with someone, right? And you'll get judge coming out of that going, about 5 out of 10 interview that one. It's not even the game. It's not even the game. It's got nothing really to do with that. It's just could have probably handled that one a little bit better. I do think though with Thomas Frank, and maybe this shows how much has changed over the last 6 months or so. Because when he was linked previously, around FA Cup final time or whatever, it was largely laughed off, wasn't it? Of like, absolutely no way, job's too big for him, he couldn't do it. And I suppose those arguments are still very valid, but where I am at is I do think that I'm starting to think the person that does succeed with Manchester United in that managerial hot seat, I don't know if it's going to be like a conventional choice. I don't know if it's going to be someone that necessarily we think, or this, because we've tried the sure thing, haven't we? Whether it's with Jose. I remember when it was announced we got Jose, I was like, we are going to win the league. They're going to win the league. That's what he does. I was like, it's literally guaranteed. Not so much necessarily with Eric, but when we got Ten Hag, I thought the football we're going to be playing, KG.
No, but we went the way that everyone said. We went for the up and coming.
We've tried everything. We've tried Fergie picked. We've tried established. We've tried super experienced. We've tried the fan, the person that knows Sir Alex and the players and the club and Ollie. We've tried up and coming. So that's why I'm saying the person I think that will succeed is just someone we don't expect. It's going to be someone where it's like, didn't see that coming.
No. Do you know the person that we should have got is Thomas Tuchel?
You think we've missed a trick?
Yeah, we should have got him. Simple. Good enough, England. England can understand
Well,
why bringing them
not
in German.
not if you ask the press.
Yeah, no, the press are being the press. There's no football.
But you notice that press conference, you talk about handling stuff well, how easy he batted some of the most stupid questions off. Like that room there was out to get him. You know, you are a German, you're sitting here at Wembley, blah, blah, blah. And he just went, sorry, I have a German passport. I'm really proud to be the manager of England. And you just go, oh, he's just diffused that completely. You know what I mean? He's handled it.
And that's what you need at Man United. And I want everyone to really understand this, especially for the people that's like, we should bring in De Zerbi and all these other managers and all these guys that I remember Moyes, who's got experience upon experience. Did you see him in presses? He looked like a deer in the headlights. He looked like, and we aged that guy. We did a madness to David Moyes. When it comes
to that partnership, KG, we decided to replace Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill with David Moyes and Ed Woodward. In terms of like historical fumbles, like in transition, because like for instance, Liverpool have been through a massive transition, over the last with the manager going, people on the executive side going, they're top of the league. Like you would say, largely they handled that so far pretty good. Long way to go, but they handled that pretty good. And they were getting bantered in the summer for like not doing anything in the transfer market, but they handled it pretty good. We handled a title-winning side with our greatest manager ever. Like there was always going to be a drop-off, a decline. I get that. But we said the guys to take it forward are David Moyes and Ed Woodward.
And check this out. This is why it's so mad, right? Because we gave it to David Moyes and we thought something so simple as 2013, let's never forget it. We said, David, you're Scottish. You're the longest serving.
You've been at Everton a while.
You've been at Everton a while. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
David done his first couple presses. And I still remember the faces now. I remember the first one, him at his desk. It's the meme that they use a lot, you know, with the mouse pad.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. There's so many pictures. And I said, this guy shouldn't be as shaken as he is, but he's shaken. Then we saw LBG had the gravitas. He had the gravitas.
But also he was like, he's been around the block enough to know, like, I think he realized pretty quickly, he looked at the people above him and went, this ain't right. Like, have you heard the way he talks about Ed Woodward?
Yes,
he hates him, and he always just goes like, he did his very best to warn Ten Hag not to come, didn't he? Don't go there. Why?
Yeah,
it's not a football club.
It's commercial. Then you had after that you had Jose Mourinho. The only problem we had with Jose is we didn't get Real Madrid Mourinho. We didn't get Chelsea Mourinho. We got damaged Mourinho.
Yeah.
And damaged Mourinho without the full backing, totally needed 100% backing. Whatever he wanted to do, let him do it. So, and that meant, and I wasn't in that stage when it was happening. I didn't want him to sell Pogba. Like I had my favorite players.
He wanted Martial.
I didn't want him to get rid of players that I liked to just bring in the guy that's always at Inter. He's at Spurs right now.
Because he also, Perisic, wasn't it? He wanted to bring in people. He wanted to sign sell people that were like 23 for people that were like late 20s and be like, I want a team now. Give me a team now.
And I don't know, that was crazy, but he really wanted to do that. But he was keen. Perisic was going to be like the first choice, you know. And then we ended Ollie,
yeah.
And we saw what we did to Babyface Assassin. He wouldn't be.
We aged him. My God, he went babyface towards the end.
So you ruined him, and then
there was a brief Ralph period as well.
Ralph's period shouldn't be spoken about.
It was you, but you want to talk about press conferences? He gave some bloody good press conferences. I'll give him that.
No, it was brilliant, but it was short-lived. He couldn't manage. That's what I'm saying. He couldn't deal with how big Man United was and that what you have to do here in terms of protection. Because what Fergie managed to do well, told a lot of lies to us. No value in the market when we're seeing players like Yaya Toure go into like.
Well, yeah, you sell Ronaldo. Who'd you bring in? You bring in Michael Owen, Obertan.
No value in the market.
Yeah. And it was at Valencia, I think that one was the only one that paid off. And
Yeah.
it was like, you know, like you said, no value in the market. Get that. I mean, I did appreciate the Ralph Rangnick school of thought when it came to the press conferences of why you're losing games, because the players are shit. That was his kind of thing, which is fun.
And that was the time. Ralph Rangnick's era was the time of definite player power and people just not giving a shit.
Yeah,
they gave 20 minutes of they ran for 20 minutes and decided that's enough for now.
Well, they definitely realized they were playing for an interim manager who they probably thought, even though he's going to advise post his time, he's not going to be advising. And I think that you could probably, if you go back and look at Ralph's press conferences, you can probably pinpoint the actual time he realized he wasn't going to be there, because that's when he started to talk a lot of shit, going about, yeah, this club's just not run very well, open heart surgery, changeable. And actually, the best thing was when he went, it's not actually even that hard. You look at some clubs can do it in like 18 months. It doesn't have to take 5 years. I don't know why you're talking about 5-year rebuild. You can do it fairly quickly.
Yeah, that's when he fully knew he's not going upstairs. Like that upstairs thing, they told him, listen, this house has now become a bungalow. There is no upstairs.
The best thing's like, have you spoken to Eric Ten Hag? No. All right. But he's like, there you go. I'm sure I will. Oh, I bet you are.
Listen to Ten Hag's pressers when he first arrived to what he sounds like now.
Yeah. Well, he tried. The one thing I think he shouldn't have done, and this is an error on his part, I think he has learned his lesson now. I think initially he tried to get the media or the journalists in that room to like him. I think he really tried to be friends with them. When he went around, you remember the first press, he went around shaking all their hands. Yeah. You know what I mean? Doing the personal
nice guy, though. He's got a nice...
And he tried, but you then have to realize that room doesn't care. I mean, today, the press conference, right? Andy Mitten. I love Andy Mitten. I think he's a great journalist. I think he's a lovely man. And he's an honest guy as well. They started off the press conference today by going, Eric Ten Hag goes, right, before any questions, I just want to say, Andy, just climbed Kilimanjaro with Brian Robson, raised a lot of money for charity for the Manchester United Foundation. Well done. Fantastic achievement. And they give him a round of applause, right? So from Eric Ten Hag, a round of applause. And he goes, and you know what? Actually, you can have the first question, Andy. And Andy goes, thank you very much. Why do you think you'll actually be a success at Manchester United? You go, well, that's not really... I've just been really nice to you. And the first one is, do you think you're going to fail? What gives you any reason that you're going to be a success or succeed? And it's kind of like, sums it up, doesn't it? You go, thanks very much, but business is business, mate. Why are you shit?
Yeah, Andy wasn't messing around. So he gave him a big applause for Kilimanjaro, and he just he hit him with the check hook.
Yeah, and then Ten Hag went, we've got to climb a mountain, is what he said back. We've got a mountain to climb. And then you realise everyone's going, no one's really serious here.
It's a nice response though, because it's a great question to ask, right? Why do you feel you'll be a success here? And the funny thing is, old Ten Hag would have answered that with a surety and a knowingness, but that new Ten Hag is not sure about.
It wasn't a great answer. It wasn't a great answer.
It's not.
He was like, we have a mountain to climb, but then he started doing, but there are some stats that I see that are positive. So I think we're heading in the right direction. And you go, but Eric. And then he finishes it off by going, but the ranking table doesn't lie. We need to do better. And you go, so you kind of sandwiched that basically there by sort of going, we've got a mountain to climb, i.e. we've got a tough challenge, but there's some good stuff in there, these stats, and you're going, but the stats are mean. And then he even really ends it by going, but the stats are meaningless before you need to do better than that. Like you said, you go, they can't really defend it, can you?
New Ten Hag. And that's what I'm saying. This is new Ten Hag. This is Ten Hag that's been chipped away by the size of the club. And you have to come in with a big character just before you arrive, because the chipping starts immediately. The new manager is not going to be resoundingly liked by all the fans. The only way a new manager is going to get resoundingly liked, the only one that can get straight love immediately, Ruud van Nistelrooy. A new manager is going to have to truly prove himself. If it's Thomas Frank that steps in, there'll be a section of fans that say, okay, you know, something new, let's give him a chance. But then there'll be a lot of fans that are saying, well, I don't know why you got this job. Prove to me why you should have it.
Yeah.
You know, and that their rope that they're going to use to assess this manager will not be as long, because I think there's a real impatience in the fan base, and I respect it and I understand it because we've wanted to win for a long time. We haven't, you know. So this is why, like, the appointment. Let's say if Ten Hag gets it right and he goes on a wicked run and we do fantastic, brilliant. But then I'm of the mindset that it's not going to go the way I want it to go. So the next appointment has to be so on point, a level of, oh wow, okay, you know what I mean? It has to be one of those.
And they've set their stall out, haven't they, Ineos? You know, they've set their stall out in the sense of what they say, win a league title by 2028. And you go, well, it's late 2024 now, and you're going, well, if that is going to happen, not that we're expecting next year to win the title, but we're going to need to see something really in the next 12 months to go, okay, I can see in how in 2 years we would be closer. Because as we're playing right now, there is no evidence. I know 4 years is a long time, but there's no evidence to say, well, we're trending towards that goal.
We're trending upwards.
We're not trending in that direction. That's when you go back to having sort of the buy-in and the patience. So we shall see. I mean, game tomorrow, KG, we'll both be on it on the Match View.
Yes.
What's your prediction?
3-1 Brentford.
Really? You think it's going to be that decisive?
Yeah, we're just going to do something.
Does he survive 3-1, do you think?
That's a good question. That's what I wanted to know.
I don't know if he'd survive. I mean, I know you asked me earlier on, but because I think if we lose tomorrow, I think it would be like a 2-1 or a 1-0. I don't think
3-1 Brentford. Wow. No, what people can come here. Spurs came here and scored 3.
I know. No, I'm not saying. The only reason I'm saying wow is because I don't think I've ever heard you predict like that. That's the only reason.
I've never predicted like that. I've never predicted like that. But then I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I'm telling you that I don't believe in what we're doing as a team. You know, that's the truth. Like it's not. I'm not even doing that for like a wow moment. It's just truly what I feel like. I don't see how we play. I'm excited about Mazraoui being back. That's giving me a little bit of confidence. And the Man United fan in me wants to say 2-1.
Yeah,
Man United, and that's my scoreline most weeks. I just don't believe.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of given 2. I went. My heart goes 2-1 United, and my head goes 2-2 or Brentford just win it 2-1. I think. I mean, you look at Mbeumo, second top goal scorer in the league. Like, they've been scoring goals for fun. The games they've lost this season have been against big teams, you know, away from home. So you go, how do we think?
They can score and we can't.
Yeah, literally. I mean, Mbeumo scored 6 goals. That is more than us in totality in the Premier League. And not on top of that, the majority of those goals came in one game, which was against Southampton. You know what I mean? So, yeah, not good. So there you go. For that fun, you can join KG and myself tomorrow. I'll be live from 1 p.m. Kickoff will be at 3. Flex will be at Old Trafford outside the ground, giving you the fan views, the player ratings. Of course, his road trip will be there too. Be sure to subscribe to KG's channel. What road are you to at this point?
Road to 50K by my birthday. My birthday's coming soon. Can you imagine? Guess what?
Wow.
Playing Chelsea on my birthday. On the day.
That is tough.
I know.
That is tough.
Yeah, very
tough.
Thanks.
Yeah, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to KG's channel. You can go check out Pro Clubs from last night. I did dip my head and it was really excellent. Funny. Yeah, it was. And we'll be back next week for episode 36 of the Trinity. Probably the same layout unless Flex gets a really early flight from Turkey, but we shall see how it plays out. Anyway, guys, we're out of it. Have a good one. Peace.